It's the twins.
These shirts are great. Why don't you stand up?
Oh,
Yeah, it's the tree of life with the yin yang symbol and the. Okay, well, that was fun. It was quick.
yeah, painful. Painless.
Relationship.reinvented.com on the back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We're
Well,
not gonna
anyway.
turn around.
Hi, how are you
Hello.
guys? We were asked to do this video, so we thought, why not? You know what? I think you and I can really talk about conscious and unconscious behavior. And the title of this, of course, is False Twin Flames. And we tried to go out and research what it seems to be, but we know what we've been asked, and it probably resonated a little bit easier when just finding out what people are asking about when it comes to what is false twin flames. Well, false is probably the thing that we'll focus on, because I believe that's what you know is in your truth. Are you falsely connected, or are you falsely disconnected? Okay.
I wonder how many times after we discovered the twin flame dynamic that you thought I was your false twin.
No. Actually, it's funny that you said that, because here's what I understood about what was false in me. When I came back to you in 2007, I was going through it, and I went through Dark Night of the Soul and ended up trying to do that. You guys all know the story. If not, you've seen the journey. If not, go watch it. But that'll really explain where I'm going here. But what happened was, as I became more aware, self-aware, and more conscious, I started to realize that I was connected. And now I thought, okay, well, I can't have you in my life, so I'm going to move on with a soulmate at the time. And said, this is going to be the person that I'm going to have this connection with. Did you hear that part? I'm going to have this with this person. This person had no idea about what this connection was, yet the vibrations that were emitting off of me gave me, the what is it, the empathic nature of what I was already immersed in, was able to pick up vibrations off of anything. Because this connection is here to put you in nature and bring you back to nature. So what ended up happening is I was thinking, okay, I know that I'm connected here, but my belief system was that I could be connected there. So I kept trying to make the connection manifest itself, which it did, but it didn't. All I did was watch this person lose who they really were and try to be who they thought they could be for me. Well, how does that happen? Well, it happened because I was telling them everything I was thinking. I was standing in my truth. I was able to share. I was able to explore. I was able to tell about the deep love that I could feel and the deep love that I thought that I was feeling for this person. And I created this thing in my head that said that I was in love with the person who I thought they were. So
Say that again.
I was in love with a person who I thought they were, not who I thought they were. So I was creating in my head what they should be. And the thing was, I kept gravitating to them. I kept making this connection in it. And it was powerful. It was beautiful. It was emotional. It was fulfilling. But I kept feeling like I was running on empty, because there were parts where I would have to say what I was feeling and things, and then I would be waiting for something to be said back. And it just couldn't happen that way. So was I feeding too much information to them for them to try to portray who they thought I could be, or what this could be, or what this connection was there to show us? Yeah. See, the belief system is one thing. But if you're using that belief system in an unconscious way, oh, don't worry. It'll show you what a false twin flame is. Because you're going to create it in the head. And then look out at them and go, yeah, their behaviors are mimicking this. Message. The message is that you can create this. Remember, when your flame is lit and you're starting to connect to yourself, you'll know if the other person is connected to themselves. If not, they're going to portray whoever you tell them to be. Our love is that powerful. Remember, it's an ability. And if you think that you can transpose or make somebody something, Oh, don't worry, you'll be right. But when they start to surface of who they really are, then who's really at fault here? Your belief system or theirs? You told them that you were connected. Well, if you were connected to yourself, you will know who your twin is. Thing is, at that time, I didn't know. I didn't know. I thought that this was the kind of love that I'd been looking for my entire life, and I could have it all with this one person. And I tried to give it all to this one person. And I did. But when I started to look at it, was I now a puppet master? See, when you want love that deep, and you have this belief in a love that deep, you create what you want.
And if the other person loves you and wants to be a part of your life, they tend to conform to that belief system. And they want to be those things. They truly do want to become those qualities that you're letting out, you're speaking of, and they make an effort to do that, and they really do try to manifest those things, but you know in your knower that it's not a true.
At that point, the thought process is trying to hide the knower.
Yeah, that's exactly
Because
it.
the thought process doesn't want the knower to come out and go, that's not it. Because what needs to happen is, of course, in the way that we are on this planet, we live in this dream world, and then we live in the real world. And what happens is when you try to bring the dream world into your real world, you suffer a lot of the time. Because all the things that you want to manifest that you know that could be true show up. And, if you're not able to be with who you're connected to in truth, there's a part of you that's now been connected to itself. And I don't want to hear the stuff about, well, you're two parts of a soul. Well, wholeness is in being. Even though we share a soul, that doesn't mean I'm not whole, with or without her. You have to get that part right, because you're made up of yin and yang. You're made up of masculine, feminine. You're made up of positive, negative energy. Anybody telling you that this other half, the negative half, is going to fit the positive half, and that's how you become whole, get that shit out of your mind. Because, okay, not get it out of your mind. Put the mind down and get into the actual connection. You're connected to yourself. You'll emit vibration. That vibration will be felt by your true twin, not a false one.
I think, I feel that this mostly happens in the one who's awakening, and the twin inside them is being lit, and then they find themselves attached to somebody, and they really are starting to feel connected within, and then they're wanting to feel connected outside, and they tend to latch on to somebody that they want to latch on to, or that they feel like they want to be with, and then exactly what you said, they try to puppet them or tell them too much, or what they're needing, and then it becomes a manifestation of a relationship and not a union.
Yeah.
And then starts, and then a lot of conflict and a lot of bickering, and please don't get us wrong, there's definitely conflict when in a union. I mean, he fights with me all the time. I don't fight with him. He argues with me all the time. But maybe we need to do another video on ego.
I'm not going unconscious here. No, we're done with the ego series. I think the 1 and the 2 were good enough. We're not going to do a third one unless you guys all ask.
Right.
But here's the thing about what she's saying. A true twin brings you consciousness, not makes you go unconscious. Remember, if you start seeing how you're interacting inside of here and then pointing it out there are people that you'll come across on this planet, whether it's soulmates, relationships, doesn't matter what it is, who are going to reflect back to you exactly what you reflect to them. Your twin, however, or who you're deeply connected to, is going to vibrate something else to you to make you look at yourself a whole lot deeper than that. If you can be connected to yourself, you're going to see what you will tolerate, what you won't tolerate, what you're going to deal with, what you won't deal with. You'll create your life situations on top of your life. Your true twin will go through all of that and come right to your life. So what most people say about being taken out of the dark and brought into the light is exactly what happens. Now, some of these relationships, though, or some of these connections are here for a specific purpose. Maybe you need to learn something. Don't make that false. Make it a life experience that you need to go through to get to where you're supposed to be for yourself.
A soul connection.
A soul connection is always, that's always there. One of the things that I could tell you is false, true false, is, I thought, I was going to be attracted to my twin. I thought that it was just going to be all this bliss and they were going to be here to save me and take me. Now that family show is false.
I think you can say
False.
shit.
Well, I'm not going to because it's a family show.
I just did.
False. False would be if you truly believe that this relationship is here to save you from anything. That's false. If you truly believe that you were meant to meet your true love, then realize you have to meet it in you first.
That is the most important thing, and I don't think it can be said enough. You've really got to find it in yourself first, or everything that follows is not going to be a true, honest connection.
Honest, truth, connection. If there is such thing as false twin flame, false anything, if somebody's in your life and they're wreaking havoc on you, well, if you were conscious, you wouldn't even stand for that in the first place. Remember, this is about being awake. You think when you're awake, you're going to really tolerate those kinds of things, or that kind of energy is going to be there to find you? So if false finds you, it's because there's something false in you.
And that it also, this dynamic comes in as well when one twin is awake and one twin is unconscious, which is what happened with us.
Yeah, she's unconscious a lot.
We need to do another ego video. I mean, no, but I was awake, and Lee came into my life, and he was asleep, and then I went to sleep, and he woke up, and then Then I woke up, and he went to sleep, and then it just went back and forth.
No. I stayed awake.
He took some naps.
From 2009 and on. No, I would go unconscious when things would happen and I wasn't standing for it anymore. But then I would become conscious and not stand for it anymore. That's what happens with consciousness. Consciousness doesn't stand for anything false.
So what happened was, what happens is when you're both conscious at the same time, that's when union happens. I mean, for some people it takes. Sandra and Alan, it took, 100 years? 20-some years?
I didn't say that, dog. I didn't say that. But even look at Trevor and Eileen. Mm-hmm. You had to go through all of their false stuff beforehand to come into where they are.
Right, and we get it all the time. How do you know if somebody's your twin flame? I honestly can say that I don't believe in a million years that there's any one person out there who can tell you that somebody is or is not your twin flame. I don't believe that. That's something that you know in your knower. In your knower, inside, you know if they are the one, if they are connected to you on a level that is beyond anything comprehensible. I had so many doubts. Then when I would find myself doubting and I couldn't explain, I'm going to call that the batshit crazy phase, where you think you're crazy and none of this stuff can be real. It's got to be crazy. My mind is making it up. I am not going through this. I'm not feeling these things. And I went through that as well, where, I mean, I would taste something and I had no idea where it was coming from. And I would call him and been tasting peanut butter all morning, and he had a peanut butter sandwich, or when my son was choking and he called up and he couldn't breathe. And who explains stuff like that? You can't explain it to your family. You can't explain it to your friends because they think you're batshit crazy. You're not crazy. You're feeling those things. You're experiencing these things. You're going through these things. When those things were manifesting with us, and the synchronicities, we didn't know until we actually met, with being passing by each other so many times when we were younger and growing up, and that we could have bumped into each other physically, and you could have slipped me your number or something.
Never.
But it wasn't time. But those kind of things fall into place and they fall into order when an honest connection, a true connection, is involved. There's a list. There's synchronicities, and there's manifestations of unexplainables that happen in false too.
Yeah, but in false, what you're feeling and being connected can also be projected from what you're experiencing and being able to be connected to yourself and being able to feel other people.
Right.
Your love grows. It doesn't get smaller. Get it? Get this part and understand this part. When you connect to yourself on the inside, there's love there. That love can be shared or experienced with other people, but that doesn't make them your twin. That doesn't make you connected directly to them. Or them connected to you is probably the way you need to look at it. You will know when somebody's deeply connected to you, deeply rooted in you. You'll know. Because it's just something that your knower, like she said, you just know. And you will experience a way of being that's different, that does call to the truth about connection. If something comes up false, if you are, and here's the thing, if you're not with this person, you go, man, I don't know if they are or they're not. Well, that's you questioning it from your mind. Take your mind out of it. Are you connected or not? And if you're not, then say, well, then let me connect to myself to realize who I am connected to. That path is the only path that really makes sense anyway. So I really strongly, when we talked about doing this, I thought about it, and I thought about all the different times. I mean, even the last time, I thought, okay, I'm going to move on, I'm going to go on, and I'm going to be connected. And, I mean, we knew at this point what the whole hoopla was about when it comes to twin flames, but I didn't go looking for any information on the outside, because all the information I could read, all the information I could cram into my mind was just more content that was keeping me out of the place where I could actually experience true connection in me, not out here. Even with this video, even this stuff you're going to find, shut everything off, close your eyes, see if you're connected to you. Then you'll know who you're truly connected to. Anything else is just a whole bunch of noise on the outside, keeping you from the only place that really matters in the first place, inside of you.
And when you are connected to you, guess what shows up? The one who's connected to themselves first, and then to you. They mirror.
Well, and there's a line in between here that's you can't even see it, but I'm telling you, it's the reason I can hear what she thinks. It's the reason I start cleaning the house, because she's having a thought about it's not even something that's even vocal. I just start cleaning the dishes for no reason, not even realizing that she's focused on the dishes need to be cleaned.
Because it gets stronger. It gets stronger. It doesn't diminish. It doesn't diminish when you come together with your true twin. It gets stronger. Those telepathic, those astroplany, is that a word?
I like it.
I made it up.
Astroplany.
I like to make up words. Stand stiller, astroplany.
Lord. Sorry, guys.
But those things get stronger. You don't find yourself in, you don't find those things diminishing. You don't find yourself in a situation where those things fall to the wayside. They get much stronger, which is great, because if he doesn't have the phone with him and he's at the store, I can telepathically tell him to, not to forget something, and he'll pick it up.
Anyway, the fun times. Here's something that I want you to consider. If you are connected to yourself, first, you will know who you are directly connected to. Just doesn't work the other way. They bring out in you the present moment, which is the only place you truly can feel the connection. It doesn't have anything to do with any knowledge you can gain and put in your mind. This is not a mental relationship. It is a spiritual connection. And you have to use your spirit to get the answer. So if you think about it from just that alone, realize your mind's going to say, no, we got to go get now. And the spirit's going, yes, that makes too much sense. And it does. The only thing we really like to do is to take your $5 and make change. So in this particular case, consider that the change we're trying to give you. Change. True change. It's going to be something that you're going to have to experience on the inside of you to be connected to yourself to find this path. And believe me, it's going to test you.
You can't reach into a pond and pick the one that you're connected to.
Oh, no.
You can't do that.
Can we do that? Is there a pond? Where would that pond be? Could somebody just post it down below? We want to see where the pond is.
The pond is.
Yeah, and if somebody puts Lemuria, I swear to
Plenty of fish.
Plenty of fish. BLF. Yes.
You can't do that.
I'm going to find my twin.
And that doesn't mean he's not there or she's not there. That just you
Wait a
just
minute.
can't go into a
Okay,
pool.
Cupid. No.
No. But that's not necessarily true because, you can.
We did find each other on Match.
If
That's
you're
what's
out
funny
there,
about it.
right? So however, there were circumstances.
But no, I'm talking about the vibration is something
The
that happens.
the vibrational pull is so strong. Even when Lee and I weren't together, and it was final, and we were both seeing other people. At that point in time, I knew that I had done so much to hinder our connection and our relationship at that time and our union that physically we could not be together. I knew that I was going to have to live the rest of my life in a normal, regular, everyday relationship without a connection. And that was painful to me, but it was the price I was going to have to pay for my actions. And in being with somebody else, that doesn't mean that I wasn't connected to Lee, because I was. I was always connected to Lee, and I knew that that was always going to be there. It wasn't going away. It just wasn't. If you're twins out there and they're acting like an ass and they're completely destroying their own lives and they're doing things that are unthinkable and you just can't take it anymore, then it's really time to focus on you and clear you out and fall in love with you, fall in love with yourself. That in itself helps your true twin. That energy helps your twin get their shit together. And that's exactly what happened with me when I was in this regular, normal, everyday relationship. And it was just normal. And there wasn't that spiritual pull. There wasn't that spiritual connection that I have with Lee. And I knew that it was always going to be that way. And I was always spiritually connected to this one. And that was it. And then when I was able to say, you know what? There was no need for all that tomfoolery and those shenanigans. There was just no need for that. And I was just covering up who I really was. I don't need to be like that anymore. And it took me knowing that he was done for me to be like, wait a minute, I was really asleep that whole time. Well, all right, so, hey, yeah, I was asleep. Sorry about that. And then, telling him about my dreams and my awakening is what actually ended up just standing in my truth, bringing him back into my life, or him allowing himself to be a part of my life, because at that point in time he had moved into a gated community to get away from me. And how come when I moved in they don't shut the gates anymore?
Right.
Anyway.
Welcome to Twin Fountains.
Right. That's exactly what it's called. Why we did that anyway.
Who knows?
Sometimes you have to actually let the twin go. Sometimes that's how you know if it's a false twin or a real twin.
Yeah, you do. Because what's making them unconscious right now is not going to be made conscious by you or through you. Only you going in and doing the work to see where you still have unconscious behaviors that still keep surfacing to the outside world. And when you go into this, you really can't treat it like a traditional relationship. You just can't. Don't. And it's funny because the twins that we do talk to, the ones that are coming together, they're like, well, we're not calling this anything. We're just going to be completely open. We're like, that's perfect. Tell the truth. Don't have any secrets. Stop hiding. Talk about what's healing. Talk about what's healing. Keep talking about it and stay conscious. Stay conscious with one another, and it does what it's supposed to. You'll know false or true, true or false. You'll know. You'll know that you're connected. The difference being is that what you thought connection was is what your mind created for connection, not what connection is. Your mind cannot make up what connection is. It just can't. It can try. It can try to paint a pretty picture. It can create a fairy tale. It can make it seem like this is just this beautiful, lovely thing that when you do it, the whole world is going to be at your fingertips and, it's coming here to save you. Save you from what? Again, this is about the connection you have to yourself. If you're trying to make somebody else responsible for your happiness, don't worry, you'll find a false twin flame.
A false soulmate, a false soul connection.
False everything.
False everything.
Remember, you're the only one responsible for your own energy. When you take responsibility for it yourself and don't give responsibility to somebody else, you won't let yourself down and you'll be connected to you. That's what this is about. This has nothing to do with anything else but you. And if you're struggling to try to figure that out, we're here. We definitely can help you figure it out. But you got to get the word false out of your head. You got to get the word unconscious, or keep the words of what unconsciousness brings out of your head, and stay awake, stay in the light, and be conscious.
Throw the words twin flame out of your head.
Yeah, are you connected or not?
Mm-hmm.
That's the question. That's what this comes down to. And if you're going, well, I've met my twin flame, good, tell him the truth. And if you're going, well, I can't tell him he's my twin flame, I can't tell her he's my twin. Stop. Tell him you're connected. Get it? If you're connected, what are you connected to? Well, I'm connected to you. Well, you're connected to me. And then you turn around and say, I'm not connected to myself, though. Well, that's false. You cannot be connected to somebody else if you're not connected to yourself first. True connection only works in one direction. It's the battery of life.
If you have a false connection to yourself, you're always going to find a false twin flame.
Ooh, that's fun.
And false connections to the self happen all the time.
Ooh.
All the time. Oh, I'm healed.
Oh, I like the word healed as an ED because it says, oh yeah, I've done all my work. I've already made all that crap. I purged it. Stop. Healing is what we're all here to do and continue to do from now until our heart stops. If you say you're healed, you have now put your healed in a box, packed it up really nice, put a lid on it, and put it in the inside, and as soon as somebody comes along and they reactivate a certain pain, that box gets flipped open, and now you've got this big, huge mess, and you're pointing at them like it's their fault. Healing doesn't have any of that.
It's being conscious of the actions and the reactions that come out of you. That's the most important thing, is being conscious when you're being unconscious.
Aware.
Yeah. Being aware of how you're reacting. If you're attacking, being aware that you're attacking, and then
Catching yourself.
if you're not in the now, and in honesty, we just found ourselves actually going through that, where okay, it was me. And all this great stuff behind you, all this wedding planning going on, this amazing wedding planning, the wedding's in the future, so all this wedding planning going on, and then I found myself in the future, and what I was missing was the kissing and the hugging and the connection that we were having now. I was missing that, and I was flying on past that, and he was able to stop that and talk to me and say, hey, you're not now with me right now. And notice, I'm going to write a post about this, but noticing that, I don't know, I would say 50% or more when somebody's planning a wedding and even a regular relationship without a soul connection, it would start to ruin the relationship.
You kidding me? 99% of all twins aren't together because they're not now.
And not now.
And I'm going to be with them in the future. I'm going to sit here, sit still, be quiet. I know that they've moved on, they've got married and done all this stuff. I'm just going to wait for them to come back. And I'm just going to sit here because in the future, we're going to be together. And I've got to be right. No. Just listen to how silly that sounds. You're projecting future. If all of us had time machines, there would be nobody in the present moment. Because everybody would leave it.
Don't pull a Sherry. We've been through that.
But
if you've seen our journey, we've been through that.
But it's really easy to get caught up in time because we keep feeling like the clock is ticking on something, and in the connection, there is no clock. There's only connection.
And there's only now.
That's it. Even when we're making this video, it's going to be in the past, and we're not going to think about it. We've done that with all the videos so far. We don't think about it.
How about this? My twin's married to somebody else, and I'm married to somebody else. Figure that out. We did.
Be now.
Be now, right.
What you're truly needing to go into now is what's missing. Mm-hmm. It's always been what's missing. False twin flame. Because you're projecting a mental projection of who they were when you met them a couple of days ago, a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago, a couple of years ago, and now you're projecting what the future, and you're not paying attention to now to even know if there's a connection there or not. That's the only place you can truly find out if you're truly connected, and it will give you the truth, is now. If you close your eyes, am I connected to myself? Yes. Am I connected to anybody else? You'll know. You'll come quick. No. Yes. You'll know. And when we find that we're not being now with one another, it's as simple as just going over, putting our hand in the other and saying, hey, you now? Or you, oh, that's right, you were there. You're already at the wedding. Mm-hmm. No, you can only be now. I mean, that's what makes this union complete, is how much now you actually spend with one another.
It brings me to a thought that, when twins in union have a conflict and ego gets involved, and it's what happened to us a couple months ago, and it just escalated in ego and ego and ego, and then something clicked and said, wait a minute, I know how to pull him out of this. After it completely got out of hand, I know how to pull him out of this. Why didn't I think of this before? I know how to do this. He told me how to pull him out of this. I got to look in his eyes and say, hey, I'm right here, I'm right here, I'm right here. And after it just got completely out of hand, I was able to do that and brought him back into the now. And everybody else involved were like, what the hell just happened?
Well,
it was completely out of hand. And what the hell just happened?
Switch.
Right. And true twins are able to recognize and snap out, because when one person gets an ego and the other person gets an ego, and then it becomes an ego fest. Sometimes ego festivals happen.
Yeah, they do. We pay the price of admission. We jump on a ride, and the next thing you know, you're on that ride, and you just got to ride it out. And then when the ride gets off, you go, okay, I'm not getting on that ride again. Mm-hmm. Or you go, I'm going to get on that ride again. That was fun. Mm-hmm. I mean, but at least we see the choice. Mm-hmm. The choice to be conscious or unconscious. And when we're both unconscious, it does take... This is the truth about love, though, guys. When you're connected, all parts of you are going to be connected. Even the parts the mind wants to create. But if you're not sharing it with one another, and exploring it with one another, and not healing it, unless you've healed, then that box can get flipped back open and we could hit another pain point, right? And then you're unconscious again. Don't do that.
Test that third eye connection.
Oh, I got the third eye. Yeah, sorry about that. I know you guys are all going to, I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Can
You do
you?
it. You close your eyes and you just do it.
Yeah. Can you have that third eye connection? That look into me.
Yes. Into me, see. Oh, I'm sorry, into me, see. All right.
I think we've bored these people enough.
Yeah, I think we've bored you. False twin flames. Is it false in you? Yeah. Find your truth. That's what we keep talking about standing in, because that's the only place you're going to know anything. And when you're truthful in your connection to yourself, you'll know false from a mile, 1,000 miles away. And if you're not close to your connection, if your connection's 3,000 miles away or 12,000 miles away, you'll know you're connected. You'll just know. And if something feels off, go with what you feel, not what you think. Because what you feel, if it's painful, if there's anything else, connect back to yourself first, the pain will stop. Then you'll know that that wasn't the right place to be in the first place.
Thank you all for being such a major part of our lives, and for really putting yourselves into our lives and our family and all the amazing messages we get. And thank you all for being a part of our journey and a part of our wedding, the wedding of the century. It's a celebration of a union that's already it's already happening.
It's already there.
It's a celebration.
Yes. Come celebrate with us. We love you all.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching.